Hey team, welcome back to another great episode of the Intentional Agribusiness Leader Podcast. This is your host, Mark Jewell, and today I am on with Shane Johnson, who is the VP of Agronomy at United Cooperative up in Wisconsin. Shane, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
Cool. Shane, what does it mean for you to be intentional?
To be intentional, set your path, and move forward on that path. Get a lot of curveballs thrown at us in this industry, as we all know, and just like to set the path and be intentional about that path and move forward on that path. So that's intentional to me. So.
Knowing what you want, where to go to get it, and why you want it. Good stuff, man. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, give us a little bit of a preview, if you can, into the life of Shane Johnson and what you guys do at. We can deduce what we think what we think you do at United Co-op. But give us a little background. How'd you get there? What are some of the day-to-day challenges that come up for you?
All right. So I grew up in ag retail. Dad retired out of retail after 45 years. So I was around the retail plant from the time I can remember. Took a little break after I graduated and went to try to make my name doing something else, and ended up back in the ag business. So I've been in the ag business for 17 years, 12 years as an agronomist, and the last 5 years in management. Enjoy the heck out of this industry. Don't know what I would do in a different industry. So
right, yeah.
Day to day for me, I got about 185 people total under me. I manage all the operations people. All the managers report directly to me. All the operations people are under me. I have a sales manager that manages our 44 salespeople, and then I have a guy that does all of our crop protection procurement. So I do all of our CN procurement, buy all of our equipment, manage all of our operations staff, set direction, marketing, set pricing. You pretty much name it; it all rolls up underneath me. So
you bet.
I got plenty going on. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. It sounds like it. That's that's a big organization. So you said off the call or off the recording here, you said what, over 600 in the entire company is the head count
between our four ethanol plants and our local feed, grain, agronomy, and fuels divisions. So
wow, yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. That's a lot. What was it like making the transition from agronomist into the leadership role?
Actually, it wasn't too hard for me. Kind of a natural born leader. Grew up in Boy Scouts growing up. I'm an Eagle Scout. Was always kind of a leader. I always enjoyed as an agronomist. I always managed our internship programs and always liked working with young staff, watching them grow, giving them tools to succeed in this industry. So honestly, the transition wasn't all that hard. I'm a people person. Now I just work with our people instead of working with growers day to day. So
right.
The transition was pretty natural, to be honest with you.
Got it. So, yeah. Well, that's any advice that you would lend then to people that are maybe making that transition? Because I know one of the things our clients ask for a lot is like, hey, now we have people who were in the role, but now they're people leaders, right? So they're individual contributors before, now they're people leaders, but some of those people are still their friends.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I've honestly, since the time I got started in the ag business, I always try to surround myself with the best leaders and the most knowledgeable people to bring me personally the best insight I could have. So I kind of have taken the the previous leaders that I've come across over the years and kind of formed my own opinions on how to move forward with things, and that's kind of how I've why I am where I am today. Just surrounding myself with good people and using the knowledge and skills I learned from other good leaders and forming my own opinion and trekking forward with that.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point. It's actually been coming up quite consistently in the last several interviews that I've done. Not that you would know, they're not public yet, but this idea of surrounding yourself with mentors, other leaders, people that are maybe there where you want to get to. And so surrounding yourself with people like that, or just people that challenge you, people that are already in those roles, whatever. But I mean, really just assimilating, right, to folks that are performing the way that you'd like to perform, or performing maybe one notch above or 10 notches above where you want to be right now. And then just learning. I think there's a lot to be said. I think the old quote is you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot of
Well,
truth to that.
I've always lived by the comment that if I don't learn something every day, I'm going to get passed up. So just
Yep.
continually every day, trying to learn. I take meetings, and if I can get one bit out of a meeting that I spent an hour and a half at, it was worth my time to do that, because it's making me a better leader, a better person, and
Yep.
hopefully transitioning down to my sales staff and my organization. So
You bet. That's good. Ag retail can be a little stressful from time to time. How do you help people? How do we help coach people better to be more focused on productive versus just being busy? I see a lot of people being busy, kind of, probably wasting more time than actually being productive with the time. How do you play that game?
well, biggest thing to me is, and this is actually what I lead with is I'm a family first leader.
Hmm.
When this career we all have is over with, all we have is our family in the end. So I'm a family first. Obviously, springtime is absolutely insane, and we try not to let people take off those times, but
Hmm.
um, outside of those 2 months when it's absolute chaos, it's family first. If you got something going on with your family, you need to be there. That's
Good.
number one, right? So I think that's always been what I live by. Me growing up, I didn't see my dad in the springtime. Back in the old days, I didn't see him for 2 3 months, and when I came into this industry, that's something that I kind of wanted to change. We can still work hard and play hard and still have
Yeah,
family time in the middle of all that. So
you bet.
that's kind of number one to me. I think that's maybe why we have a pretty decent retention rate with our operations people and our sales staff here at United Cooperative. Our culture is a little bit different than others. I think that's a big part of why we are a little bit different than others.
Hmm.
Yeah, we all know we have a lot to do. Mother Nature drives the bus in season, and it can be absolutely chaotic as can be. But
Hmm.
knowing that home life and family life is number one, and works number two, unfortunately, but that's what it is in the end. That's all we got. So i think
Hmm.
that's i think that's a little bit I think that's something that I definitely value, and try to put down on my team as being a very important thing.
Yeah. Do you ever have to kind of force people to move? I mean, I run into a lot of people who they feel so guilty, right? Leaving the team, taking time to go work on something personal. It seems like it shouldn't get in the way, but like you say, at the end of the day, when the career's over, I mean,
Right.
you're,
That's all you
you're
got. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's a little hard for me to preach sometimes when I don't practice.
right. Yeah.
Because I'm uh, I'm pretty all in on work all the time, right? I catch it from my wife, and the phone rings when I'm supposed to have a day off, and it's like just what I do. It's
Yep.
why I've been successful, and why I try to instill that in our team to keep everybody successful, right? So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of those challenges that it comes up again and again. When we run our Thriving Leader program, we've been running this for 10 years, over 140 deliveries. And every single time we do it, we ask a question and we say, hey, we're here in this classroom for the next day and a half, 2 days. Um, we don't get that time back. So what makes it a worthy investment of your time? And when we ask that question, without fail, Shane, like 2 of the top 3 are time management, work-life balance. I mean, across from Montana to Ohio. I mean, that we've got clients in right today,
yep,
and it's
yep,
the same thing every single time. That's what these guys, I mean, yeah, I want to be able to, whatever, I want to sell more inputs, or I want to, know how to manage my customers better, or any level of professional things. Those get asked too, but always less than more time, better time management, more work life balance. And
right.
some of that is, can we just instill that into the culture where, there is no shame if you need to go take care of a sick kid or be there for some, a family emergency, or, make a football game a priority on a Friday night in October.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely, and that, I like to think that that's what makes us a little bit different than
Mhm.
others. I don't know, but
Sure. Yep.
turnover rate seems to maybe reflect that a little bit,
That's good.
but family first. So
Yeah. Very good. What, from a team development perspective, and developing team for whether it's the sales roles or operationally speaking, what do you guys do, or what do you recommend that kind of helps keep everybody, whether it's trained up or keeps that's keeping them engaged? It sounds like we've got the family first as a priority, but do you guys do anything in that arena?
yeah, so focus. So we just had a turnover in our agronomy sales leader here in July. A guy that
Mm-hmm.
had been with us for 20 years retired, and we
Mm-hmm.
brought in a new sales manager who just ended up being our probably longest tenured salesperson that we have. But when we were in that, when I was in that search, the number one thing for me is future training of new salespeople.
Yep.
Um, that's a big priority. That's what's going to take us into the future.
Mm-hmm.
We focus really hard on put a lot of focus on training our young sellers.
Mm-hmm.
We have young seller training that we do 3, 4, 5 times a year outside of our normal training sessions. With us being a big organization, we actually only get our entire sales group together 3 times out of the year. And then we in the winter time and in the off season we do focus young sales training.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that some of our seasoned agronomists take for granted, basic fertility, reading soil tests. There's a lot of different chemicals out there, a lot of different chemistries with different names. Diving into the raw ingredients. What does this ingredient do? What does that ingredient do? And then just your sales training, your you know objection, rejection, conversations, and
Mm-hmm.
your fact
Yeah.
finding. Giving them the skills they need to be successful.
Good.
Our industry, between the manufacturers taking people out of retail and this not being a very glamorous career like you've alluded to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard work and very seasonal
Yep.
and so using whatever we can to develop our young sales staff, because I feel that's what's going to take us into the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my favorite things to train on, by the way, is the helping young people learn to overcome objections.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big
So
deal.
love it.
Big deal.
Love it. Yep. It's one of those skill sets, right? When we're teaching it, I'm always helping them like picture themselves. If we watch a football game, and you got a quarterback standing in the pocket, and that pocket starts to collapse, right? Like the
Yep.
really good ones are capable of just hanging in, right? Like 1 second or a second and a half longer so that they can deliver the pass, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then the less experienced ones, like they start running too soon. And
Yep.
and that's the difference. Like when you can do that, when you can stand in that pocket for just a little bit longer, when you feel like you're getting yelled at or you're about to get a rejection or they're going to say no or your price is too high or whatever the thing is, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, and the other side of that I feel is extremely important that we lose sight of some days too is asking for the sale, right? So you go in there and you go on your fact finding mission. If it's a new customer, you find out the
Mm-hmm.
facts. Um, you know, we challenge all of our salespeople to challenge our growers, right? Our growers
Mm-hmm.
want to be
Mm-hmm.
challenged. They should, you know, ask for the sale of this enhancing product. Make them tell you no, right?
Yeah.
Your job is to push them and push their yield and push their thought process. So that's another side beyond the objection side. It's
Yeah.
just actually asking for the sale.
Yep. Yep. And get comfortable with the rejection, because
Correct.
it's inevitable. It's going to happen anyway. So, might as well take it on the chin. One of the contests that we've run for our customers in the past is actually a go for no competition. And so to win the competition, you have to bring back the most rejections over a certain time frame.
Yep.
And it completely changes the context around not getting the business, because now you're actually getting rewarded for the no. So first of all, it does that. But then guess what happens when I'm asking, when I make enough asks, even though I'm looking maybe to win with the rejections, I get some yeses, right? And starts to take that edge off, So
Builds
yeah,
confidence.
yeah, that's good. What do you guys do from an operational perspective?
Operational perspective is just trying to find the right people, for each team.
Mm-hmm.
Being spread out across the state. Um, you know, we compete in different areas between Madison, and we have different environments and wage environments that we compete in. Just basically finding we like the farm kids. Getting fewer and fewer and further in between to find these days with the consolidation in that on that side of things. But it's training too. If we're hiring applicators, giving them the proper training in our machines. You know, we try to buy the latest and greatest comfort features in all the machines, latest and greatest technology as well, to try to
Yep.
make everybody's job on the operation side as easy as possible. Automation in all of our plants. I'd say 90+% of our facilities have dry automation, dry and liquid automation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
using technology to streamline efficiencies, and in turn, I guess people aren't the easiest to find these days either. So using technology to increase efficiency with the people that we do have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've actually stepped in and been participating. This was our third year participating in the H2A program, the immigrant
Okay.
worker
Yep.
program. So we had about 40 South Africans this year that we bring in seasonally. They come in March and stay through December. We use them in agronomy, and when agronomy is over, we use them in the feed division and grain division, and then during harvest, we obviously use them in the grain division, and then they go home. Actually, they just went home last week. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's a struggle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to use the latest and greatest technologies, whether it's specifically technology in the machines, or we're using tracking units, tracking devices to use efficiency, just using
Sure.
everything at our disposal to try to keep us as efficient as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very good. Very cool. Well, there's certainly a lot going on that way, and appreciate all the insights on the business. Talk to us a little bit about, I mean, what do you read? What do you do? Like, where do you go? What do you do to develop Shane?
To develop me. Well, I'm not a big reader. Honestly, I talk to people. Kind of like
Yeah.
I said before, I have numerous connections all over the U.S., and I'm kind of asking questions, bouncing things off people. I sit on a couple of the manufacturer advisory boards, so got some pretty good connections with people pretty much throughout the whole U.S. Um, I'm all in when I'm at work, and honestly, when I drive in the morning and I drive home at night, I don't even listen to music. I'm processing what I got to do for the day on my way in, and
Yep.
trying to put my mind at ease on the way home. So when I do get home, I can spend my time with my wife and my dogs, and kind of unplug for the night. But
Sure.
not a big reader. It's more industry, and I'm just all in with people. I love people, and just try to take as much as I can, take bits of information and bits of items from
Mm-hmm.
people all throughout,
You
and
bet.
put it in here. That's kind of what
Cool.
I do. So
That's great. All right. So I'm going to do a little compare and contrast. So what's the biggest win that you've had? What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome over the course of your career?
biggest win I've had. Um, hmm, wasn't ready for this one, Mark.
Yeah, these are the tough ones, right? So here's what I'm going to give your brain a little bit of a chance. I'll share something here for a second for the benefit of everybody listening. Um, Simon Sinek, he did an interview, and he was stating that we, as humans, we're when something goes wrong, right? We have a big challenge, something, we lose someone, something that comes up in life, that's very challenging. We lose a job, right? Or the company goes through a reduction in force, and stuff we did wrong, but now we're out looking for something. Almost all of us have a short list of people that we would call when something goes wrong or we need help. Okay. Or there's just, maybe something tragic. We all have a short list of people that we would reach out to. When we win, when we have those peak moments in life, almost nobody has a short list of people that they reach out to celebrate.
Very
right?
true.
It's very interesting. And so from, I'm out here teaching on intentional leadership, right? I've been studying intentional leadership now since January of 2022. So coming up, this is a full 22, 23, now 24. So almost 3 years that I have been like going to work intentionally, trying to understand like how do we help guys like you, people like your operations managers, your salespeople, et cetera. How do we help them live life with a greater deal of intention? Because my theory is I only get to do it once.
Yep.
So why do I let myself survive life any more than I have to? When I could be thriving more often. What's the intention that goes into that? One of the sayings that I've developed is that all the times in life I've become the most resentful of my situation are always because of the times that I've been the least intentional with my situation. Right. Meaning like I failed to be proactive. I failed to plan. I didn't really think ahead. I didn't, take, I didn't buy my wife the flowers. I didn't plan the date nights. And then we got behind. Right. And then it starts stacking. And it's, it's all well and good this week. Right. But 4, 5, 6, 10 weeks of that in a row. Right. The resentment starts to stack up.
Yep.
Sometimes going the other direction. So all the times, and then that leads to a fight. And then you have, right. Well, we've all lived through that, right? If you've been married for more than a year, like you've lived through that. So, so that's what we're solving for, is trying to help leaders lead life, with a greater deal of intention. We all have these, really important big jobs to do. But like, how do we, part of what I'm trying to help people do is just suck more of the juice out of life. Right. And so it's like, well, what's the win? Like, well, I never, I'm like, we're trained to be humble. Right. But we're also trained to constantly look for the next challenge. And so, it's like, well, yeah, what was a big win? I didn't spend much time thinking about it. I don't have a like a top 10 list of amazing things I've done over the course of my career sitting over here, on my desk necessarily. So anyway, hopefully that gave you a little time to think. But what comes up? What was a big win? What was a big challenge?
Well, I think probably a big win was probably when I transitioned from a day-to-day agronomist to a manager, and seeing how using some of the methods I used as a seller, using that as a leader to push onto my salespeople. I think I was doing a lot of things right. I guess is what it comes down to when once you start talking with all your guys and gals and like, oh, that's a good idea. Just once again, just gathering the best of what I had, and that's how I operated. And I guess a win would be is that, during that transition, it was very positive to see how the way I was doing things was beneficial for my people. But I do agree with you on the win side. Yeah, I'm pretty humble person, so I don't. I talk to myself. How's that? When I do get a win, it's like, okay, great. That's what keeps me going. The wins definitely keep me going. So
right. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Any particular challenges over the years that you've had to overcome?
Challenges, I guess, just navigating this crazy life of retail ag that we've all that we all live in. It's constant challenges.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging industry. It's not one thing; it's another thing, and you get some geopolitical items that come in that force things. Yep. And then you got COVID, and I took over the reins in January of 22, right before the war started, and there has been no consistency since then. I can tell you that. Between fertilizer markets and coming in, into COVID, and then back out of COVID on the chem side and supply side, and it's just yeah, it's just a constant push and pull and constant up and down. And I'd say, one of the biggest challenges is I guess is probably staying looking forward. We're making moves. We're making moves. A year in advance as a leader, right? I mean, you're looking out that far for, and seeing what's coming down the pipeline, how that's going to
Yeah.
influence, how that's going to change our lives today. Short corn's one that's been not been ringing the bell in the back of my head. Like, okay, well, that's going to create a lot of challenges moving down the line. I think it has the potential to be very big. Just staying looking forward, not get caught up in the moment.
You bet. Yeah. Yep. That makes good sense. Love it. Love it. What's grower sentiment like right now? I guess it's the end of 24 as we make this. This will come out early 25. In the current environment, what are you hearing from the farm gate?
It's tight out there, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
commodity prices are down. Inputs are still up. Um, the grower sentiment all in all is not very positive. I challenge our people. I challenge our people to to not turn into that negative Nancy and not go down that negativity path. We go in cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one hurts. This one hurts probably a little more because we're probably coming out of the best 3 or 4 years in the last 20, almost in a
Mm-hmm.
row here. So this one hurts a little more than the previous ones because we usually have we have the ups and then we have the downs. We have the ups, we have the downs. But we're kind of going from probably the best to the worst here in back to
Yeah.
back years. So it's
Yep.
definitely challenging out there. We have gotten a little strength in the commodity markets here. So yeah, I mean we've all been through it, and my biggest thing is we got to stay positive. We're gonna plant this crop regardless of the price of this fertilizer or that chemical. I mean, this crop's gonna get planted. We have to keep challenging our growers to they can't cut their way to prosperity. They got to yield their way out of prosperity or yield their way to prosperity. So just keep staying positive and making sure your sales team stays positive because it's easy to fall into that negativity glut.
Sure thing. Yeah. I think that's super important. We always, in our trainings, one of the things we always say is where your focus goes, your energy flows. It's an old Tony Robbins quote. So, you can't always control the environment, but you can control your focus.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
You can't get caught up in the negativity. There's already too much negativity in the society we live in already. And to get caught up into that and bring that into your work life and that's not a good message for anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. 100%, man. All right. What's on the horizon for 2025? Where are you hoping to be if we're sitting here a year from now? What would you like to see better or different?
I guess I'd like to see a little more clarification of this biological space. Really
Mm-hmm.
noisy space, a lot of jockeying going on for position by different companies. I think that space has a ton of potential, and I think every year that passes, we get a little more clarification of what the future of that's going to look like.
You
So
bet.
I'm really excited about the opportunities in that space. Um, I think if we can keep the wheels on the bus and keep the positivity out there, we're gonna have another good year. I mean, the hybrids we're growing these days are fantastic. The options we have for weed control fertilizer, I mean, it's pretty awesome industry. Is the way we keep moving forward with technology. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
next year at this time, I guess I hope to have had another successful 25 under our belt and maybe
Right.
get a little more strength in the commodity market. And everybody makes some money and
Mm-hmm.
live to see another day.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Cool. Well, Shane, thanks for sitting down, having a conversation, talking this through. It's been cool to learn a little bit about you, a little bit about United Co-op, what you guys got going on up there. Any last thoughts as we close her down?
No, I appreciate the conversation today, Mark.
You bet. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.